We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. Oh my goodness. What happened? The market went down. That's what happened. Now, you know that. And now you're worried. People are like, well, there's going to be a 30% correction, or it's going to go to 70K, or it's a permanent top, or I'm trapped in meme coins. And there's all of this negativity around, what a certain guy named Jim Cramer said. There's excess in Solana, which is a problem, and we'll talk about it. But let's think for just a moment. Why was the market going up to begin with? Two reasons. One, because the United States owes $36 trillion, and the only way out of a debt crisis is to lower the value of the currency. How do you lower the value of the currency? Well, the dollar goes down and another currency goes up. They can't do it with the euro, the yen, or the Swiss franc. So the financial markets are doing it with Bitcoin. They're doing it with digital currencies. So we're in the middle of not just a Bitcoin rally, but a stealth dollar devaluation. That's the harsher economics. The better economics is that we need Web3 made in America, right? The administration has come in and said, we're buying Bitcoin. We're going to have transaction-free, we're going to have tax-free transactions on XRP, Algorand, Hedera, and Cardano. And Web3 is something we have to build because we have to grow our way or attempt to grow our way out of this debt problem. And the two big growth industries where America could have an edge are crypto and AI. And there's probably a crypto AI intersection, which has completely not been traded at all. At all. So crypto was in the middle of a fundamental shift, right? We're not only getting rid of anti-regulation forces, okay, but we're also putting a government that's going to goose it. Now, in the meantime, you get speculative excess. You get Solana, you get a pump.fun thread where they have 10 horrible videos, and it's hard to excuse that excess. We'll talk about Solana and the Solana ETF. That said, what exactly has happened when the market went down? Well, I used to have this thing with FTX back in the day where I would say, don't feed the bear. Don't be overly optimistic, and that feeds the bear. Okay. Now, in this case, it's the opposite, right? How do you feed the bull? How do you feed the bull? With fear, right? Everyone goes, the market goes down and everyone goes, oh my God. And everyone looks for a 30% correction and they don't get it. And here's why they're not going to get it. Michael Saylor recently came in and bought billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. Now, he was able to do that because of a mania in the stock of his company, MicroStrategy. It effectively became a meme stock for 3 weeks because a lot of big institutions overseas and in the United States had no other way to participate in Bitcoin without investing in MicroStrategy stock or MicroStrategy bonds. Michael Saylor, being a genius trader, said, okay, I'll sell you guys debt. I'll sell you guys stock. I'll sell you guys whatever. I'll sell you guys MicroStrategy legacy instruments. You give me money and I'll go buy Bitcoin. Now, how exactly did that transaction take place? Well, Michael Saylor went to over-the-counter dealers when, Bitcoin was very high. And they said, okay, I need a couple $2 billion worth of Bitcoin. Now, the dealers said, okay, well, if you want to buy the high, if you want to buy it up 40% in front of a big resistance point like 100K, even though it's real risky for us, we'll sell you the Bitcoin there. You want to buy billions and billions and billions, we'll sell you billions and billions at 100K, which he did. He paid 98 for everything. Then what did dealers do? What would I do? What would you do? You're like, oh, wow, I'm short a lot of Bitcoin all of a sudden. I gave Bitcoin to somebody else, and now I have to go in and buy it back. Well, how does that happen? Or we depleted all of our inventory, let's say. How do I get it back? What do I do? What would you do? Well, if I was a big dealer and I had just, literally unloaded billions, the first thing I would do is not buy. You don't want to start a buying panic and have a breakout above 100K. How are you going to get your Bitcoin back? What you would do is you would turn around and just absolutely hit the market. If you're short billions or billions have gone out the door, well, why not do tens of millions of short selling to try to pressure everyone who thinks it's easy, everyone who's levered up, and get them to liquidate. And when they all liquidate, people sell. And when people sell, you can get your Bitcoin or your crypto back. In other words, you put all this pressure on altcoins, you stop everybody out, right? You literally turn around and short everything to try to get your Bitcoin back or to try to get your crypto back or balance your books. Either way, however you want to say it. Michael Saylor drains it out, and then they have to go back in and replenish. Let's do it that way. So how much did they have to replenish? Billions upon billions, because don't forget, BlackRock is involved in this equation too. So what did they do? Did they knock it down 40% like it's in August? Did everybody revert back to the range knife experience? Like, oh no, it's going to crash again. I'm back in the range. It's been in trend mode for 3 weeks. Everyone's back in the range. So these guys that needed to push it down, what did they do? How far did they get? They got an 8% down trade. They got an 8% down trade and a normal correction in Web3 based altcoins that yes, they had recently gone up a lot, but they didn't go back to their lows and they're so far off their highs. I don't know. Yeah, okay. 3-day correction. Who cares? Who cares? I mean, yes, it shows up on your P&L, but if you're getting set up for Web3 made in America over the next 10 years, what are we all getting upset about? They could only push it down 8%. And then they're coming into a holiday. They're coming into a holiday where, things can squeeze higher, right? If they didn't get what they wanted now, well, they got to buy it back before the Santa rally. Santa rally is something in legacy where, risk assets just sort of levitate higher because there's a huge amount of organic buying at the end of the year and a lack of selling in a quiet holiday market. Well, what exactly is going to be quiet about what's going to go on in crypto when you have a fundamental revaluation, when you have the orange man stepping up to the podium and going, yeah, we're going to do this Web3 made in America. Not to mention, and you want to hear a shocker? I'll give you a shocker right now. This stuff that's going on pump.fund is the end of the Solana ETF, right? I have no idea how any law enforcement or regulatory agency or any investment bank is going to look at what's going on the Solana chain and go, yeah, we want to sell this to our customers. Like, I'm having a really hard time unless they fix, pump.fund being an indiscriminate rug chain, how the Solana ETF happens under those circumstances. Now, even if that's wrong, I still think this opens the door for the XRP ETF, right? There's going to be a third ETF. Everyone assumes it's Solana. I don't think that's accurate anymore. XRP is made in America. It's a digital currency. It's a payment system. The Ripple has relationships with big banks. It's a currency and a company. You can say it's centralized, but so is Solana. This company is centralized and their business is with banks. Solana is centralized and its business is with JEETs. So an increase in Ripple market cap or XRP market cap, could be an epic event. And then, of course, there's Ethereum, right? the seemingly innocent bystander that's being, in a way, hurt by its own foundation that continues to indiscriminately sell when they could just simply deposit the money into an application and borrow whatever they needed. It's mysterious. But that said, bull markets feed on fear. Everyone's afraid Bitcoin's going to go down. Everybody's afraid Ethereum's never going to go up, even though Web3 is happening. Right? So this opens the door. This opens the door for much higher Bitcoin because they couldn't hit it. This opens the door for much higher Ethereum because, frankly, Solana is disgusting, right? So just on that basis alone. And of course, there's the equity market players who could look at XRP or Ethereum and go, you know what? I think I want to invest in this. We're going to put money in the ETFs, right? That alone could perk up Ethereum in theory. So there's all this like, oh my God, there's all this, excess that does need to be purged out of the market. But do we have to purge it out of the market the way we've done it in the past with huge 40% corrections? I don't think so. I think we can just look at excess over here and go, okay, well, you know what? You guys have fun with that. I'm going to go invest over here, right? Like if there's excess in Solana, we can do XRP and Ethereum or just XRP. And if Bitcoin is volatile, well, good. Because up only is no good because everyone thinks it's easy. You cannot have a sustained bull market unless you can buy a dip and make money. Now everyone's looking for a 30% dip. How are you going to get a 30% dip in Bitcoin without some sort of macro event? With BlackRock and Michael Saylor, causing market makers to have to be on the bid chronically. I mean, maybe Bitcoin doesn't turn around and go up immediately. You know what? I don't want it to. I want a little bit of fear in the market. I want it to be hard to be long. I want you to go every time it goes down, right? Everyone's looking for a top. I'm looking for a bottom. Right? And what do you get at a bottom? Well, it doesn't trade particularly good. Everyone's afraid. Everyone's weirded out. Everyone's like, oh my God, everyone's being liquidated, blood everywhere, blah, 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 blah. Really? Web3, made in America, Bitcoin, a way for a debt problem to be eased. Okay, so that's the monologue. If you want to see the news in the charts, don't go anywhere. If you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this channel. Turn on alerts so you know when we're going live. And if the content works for you, please hit the like button. All right. Javier is here. Good morning. Neff, James, Banks, 911. What's up? Aaron, Thomas, Jake, right? Miklo, Hav, Seth. What's happening from Europe? Riyadh, Arendam, Shelly, Stefan. Good morning from Houston, Texas. Happy Thanksgiving to you, sir. Alexandra from Europe. Justin, Tanya, David. The boss is here. Good morning. Young, Brosu. Okay. So I guess you know where I stand. I'm not panicking. And I realized before we go on the news that holidays can be weird. You can have big moves over holidays. Okay. Back in the FTX days, there was a huge decline over Thanksgiving. It went from 19 to 16. It was an absolute panic. Now, people maybe say, I'm afraid of that again. Okay. Of all the things you could say about the market, that could be the most reasonable one. That, the market is prone to big moves around holidays. This one could be a coin flip. In my opinion, if there is no debacle over Thanksgiving, you could have the reverse happen. I'm holding on for a positive Thanksgiving because, the reason the market went down was just an excess purge. Okay, now that said, let's go to the facts and the charts. Or I should say the news and the charts. That's not always the facts, obviously. Okay, just a reminder as to what are we all doing here? We're all here to chase meme coins and make life-changing money. Well, yes and no. We are here to make life-changing money over time, not in 20 minutes. The real reason we're here is because we have an inflation problem. We have a money printing problem, right? At the end of the Roman Empire, inflation was out of control and they were printing money to sustain the empire. Do we want to go down this path? No. The Orange Man, RFKJ, Elon, and friends, yeah, they don't want to go down this path. And they're going to do something about it. And if you think they're kidding, you should recompute. A part of that is embracing Bitcoin and Web3, reducing government spending, returning money back to the system, right? Ending inflation, lowering interest rates, all crypto positive things. Senator Marsha Blackburn says federal salaries are getting frozen, and so is hiring. Also, a reminder, all of the job creation over the last year has been all government jobs. There have been no full-time jobs really to speak of. It's been part-time jobs and government hiring over the last year. It's been like a mask on the economy. Okay, they stop hiring and start rationalizing headcount. You have an immediate end to inflation. An immediate end. Because, you're going to have real estate and banks and all of these affected areas. Just, everything's going to drop sharply. This is not funny what's going to happen to these people because they're all in one area. So, again, the people who are coming into power, they mean business. And anybody who thinks crypto is going to go down 30% when these guys have told you what they're going to do, I think you should think again, right? Because people still don't believe it. Exports from Mexico to the United States. Again, he is telling both of these governments, we don't like you. And you're going to change your behavior because I'm not playing around. Now, this is going to create higher prices for computers, electronics, and anything coming from Mexico. That's a fact. Tariffs are going to be disruptive in some way. So if all prices of everything's going up on a one-off basis, seemingly, because of tariffs, I suggest hedging with Bitcoin. That's just me. All right. Governments don't always do the right thing. Yet another reason to own Bitcoin. The biggest takeaway from this slide is these guys mean what they're going to say. Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau said he had a good call with the new president. Yeah, I bet you did. I bet you did. This guy, let's just say he's pretty far to the left. Yeah. And there's been no check on his behavior until now. Okay. So again, when they tell you that they're going to do something, they're going to do it. They're going to do it because they didn't even talk about doing it to Canada, and they did it. Sending a message to everybody that if we're going to do it to Canada, we're going to do it to you. So listen up. Now, this includes the development of Web3. It's a more positive shift, right? If we say we're doing it, we're doing it. Peter Schiff, a gold guy, says gold will thrive in a digital future. And I'm sure it will. Like Bitcoin guys don't need to make a living hating on gold, but gold guys seem to make a living trying to hate on Bitcoin. It's not that way, right? There's only two ways right now to lower the value of the dollar. No one wants to buy the euro. No one wants to buy the Canadian dollar, right? They just don't, right? They want to buy gold and Bitcoin. That's and maybe Ethereum, XRP, and Solana and other currencies. That's what they want to buy. So again, there's no need to freak out because all the macro is on our side for a change. For a change. Now, okay, so let's go to all the sentiment problems. Okay, so laughably, this guy, I mean, if I could only be this famous, right? Only be on television like him, right? I do the workouts to fit in the shirt. This guy on purpose gets on the tape and says things at bottoms and tops, the opposite of what you should do. Now, in this case, he got quoted out of context because he said, MicroStrategy, the valuation was out of control. You should just buy Bitcoin. And of course, he said that at the high, happened to be the high in MicroStrategy, but naturally everyone wants to do the opposite of everything this guy does. And everyone's worried that it creates a top. And everyone's like, oh my God, every time Jim Cramer opens his mouth, Jim Cramer sank a big ship. Okay. We had a lot of fun with this for a week or a couple of days, right? And then Cramer will have it in the PowerPoint. He piled on again at the low yesterday. He's like, yeah, I still like it. He hated it at 50, but at 91, it was a better buy for him. I think the reason to like it is because Michael Saylor drained out all the crypto from the system. And they're not going to, and if they can't get it back, they're going to market buy it. Okay. Now, if you want to talk about something bad, if you want to have the conversation, let's have the conversation. Okay. So here we have, the Haktua girl issuing her own meme coin. Okay, except that there's already a meme coin for her out there. And of course, they have to moon that for whatever reason. All right. Now, celebrities want into the game. I actually think, according to one of my analysts, that could continue. Okay. But again, at the top, the cringe. Oh, these pump.fun videos. Oh, right. Now, I prefer to think positive. I think this creates the XRP ETF, because I have no idea how Morgan Stanley is going to go, oh yeah, the Solana ETF, the home of the Haktua meme coin. I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay. Yeah. Okay. On December 4th. Excellent. Great. Fantastic. Okay. Back to reality. All right. Crypto companies have been suppressed. 30 founders in the last 4 years have been debanked. This will tell you the extent of Web3 suppression. Not only were they suing exchanges, not only were they suing protocols, they were trying to get judges to legislate from the bench. Congress wouldn't pass a law. So the SEC was just, it was so suppressed. 30 crypto founders were debanked. The guys from Tornado Cash, they went to jail over code. This is ending. And it's not only ending, but it's being reversed dramatically. Meanwhile, everyone is looking for a 30% correction. Pantera Capital says Bitcoin can go to 700,000. Is that hyperbole? Maybe. But again, these are large players saying, you know what? We think prices are much higher. So if they're okay paying 90, let me say this again. If someone thinks it's going to 745K, paying 90 is wonderful. They're like, oh, look at these guys. They cheapened it up for us. Doge has flipped Porsche. Okay, that could go either way. That could be excessive or not, right? This could be an underpriced form of money, and this could be an overpriced car. Now, Porsches are very stylish. My generation loved them. You say, Bill, Porsche to me, I go, ooh. Okay. But is that true for Gen Z? Gen Z, it's like Dogecoin or Porsche. I don't know. That could be a toss-up. Seriously. Okay, so fear and greed. Fear and greed. You know what I want in the market? More fear. Let them think about it while I buy. Let them think about it while those over-the-counter dealers in BlackRock just hoover it all up. How wonderful. You guys dropped fear, greed. What? Almost 20 points? It was like 90, 92, some crazy number. All they had to do was drop it to 85 and everyone's back in the range. Can you imagine if they dropped it? If say Bitcoin fell to 87K. Say there was like a selling panic in Solana because the Jeets had to get out. By the way, fear greed at 75. One little note. They've dropped fear greed and the base coins are moving. You know what I'm saying? You could concentrate on all the negative stuff going on Solana. It makes for good TV, but the base coins are perky. ETH is perky. So we have base perky, fear up, greed down, ETH up. What are you telling me? This is bad? This is great. This is terrific. Bitcoin, 30% correction in play. Bitcoin's going to go lower so I can sell, go on vacation, and come back and buy because everyone likes it tidy and markets are always tidy, right? You guys want to see all this gray hair here? You know, the lack of hair up here. People, markets are not tidy. Everyone likes it tidy. It's not tidy. You could wake up Thanksgiving morning or you could eat your dinner in America and look at your phone and this thing could be 20% either way. If they don't get the correction that they're looking for, this thing could go up only. Note how this news article, it's more interesting for the reporter, again, a journalist, not an analyst. It's like, okay, what are people going to read? Are they going to read about this thing's going to turn around and go to 105K? Or are they going to read about a 30% correction? What's going to get a better eye? What's going to get more eyeballs? I think you should be talking about 105K because they can't get their crypto back. Bitwise filed an S1 with the SEC for more ETFs. More ETFs, more ETFs, more ETFs. You guys dock it down. Okay, we're all standing down here buying it, and they all act like these people are not here. You got a 70% correction in 2021 because it was like, you know, retail and hedge funds versus VCs. That was the flow. That was the battle. So yeah, that's going to be a much more wild market. But these guys, they're underneath the market. Okay, so again, what's the media getting people's attention with? Kramer. You know, I serve the people. I'm an analyst. And these guys, they get attention for doing stuff like this. I think it's a distraction. It's a distraction. I love this. Kraken shuts down NFTs. Now, admittedly, Kraken is not the place to go for NFTs. Realistically, that's not it. But, you know, I love when everybody goes, oh, let's get negative on NFTs. Because I think the only way to have these the meme coin world continue to explode is if maybe you attach NFTs as a way to airdrop to meme coin holders to keep them interested. Justin Sun advises World Liberty Financial, a balanced view. So on one hand, Justin is buying the high in the orange man, right? No one wanted to touch this guy. You know, everybody was like, oh no, you know, he's down in the polls in August, right? He does a DeFi project. Everybody in crypto goes cringe. Really? I mean, I was like a little bit of cringe. I was like, oh God, please don't blow up. And I gave him an A for effort. I was like, you know what? He put his money where his mouth is. Then what turned around and went up right after the election? DeFi. This project was an announcement that he wants Web3 made in America. He wants DeFi made in America. He wants a whole new financial system just because. So the guy who builds giant skyscrapers is going to build another giant skyscraper called DeFi, called Polkadot, called XRP, called Web3. He told you what he's going to do because he did it. Now, Justin's conveniently buying the high, or at least he's buying into the FOMO, but it does make a little bit of sense, right? He's got to compete. He's got to compete with Solana. He's got to compete with Sui. He's got to compete with everybody. You know, you cozy up to the orange man, maybe your layer one will get used for something constructive in the new world. So for $30 million, he bought himself into a possible future. He hitched his wagon to a big train. Okay. I'm okay with that. Yeah, there's a little bit of FOMO at the top, but Web3's happening. Justin Sun just told you that. He just told you, right? So yes, the cringe with this guy is that he did this after he bought a painting of a banana taped to a wall. That's like, oh God, man. You know, can you do the trade separately so I don't have to keep the vomit bucket next to my desk? It's like, oh, stop it. But again, Web3 made in America. Sui outshines what's driving this growth. Web3 made in America. Okay. Massive Builder.net aims to solve Ethereum's centralized block problems. Somebody please solve Ethereum's problems. Please. Because if they ever did, or if they ever just, I don't know, just lifted the veil of FUD, the upside is huge. We'll go into the charts. Bitcoin could go up a lot. DeFi, the orange man, says Cardano founder Charles Hoskin. By the way, have I mentioned on any of the shows that the Cardano founder is going on Joe Rogan? The Cardano founder is advising the president. What's he going to advise the president to do? Meme coins? No. He's going to say, dude, we need Web3 made in America. We need healthcare records on Cardano. Let's go. Let's reunite Team Ethereum. Like Team Ethereum back in the day was Vitalik, Hodgkins, the guy from Polkadot. I mean, these guys envisioned a whole different world. And now, literally almost like 10 years later, these guys are going to do it. They're doing it, and we're all selling, and we're all worried. Okay. Now, what you really want to know about is about Ski Mask Dog. Everything's just fine. Does this look like the world's ending to you? It doesn't to me. So here we have a highly speculative meme coin that's got sponsorship from, an influencer and a community. It went down 70%, just like meme coins do right before they take off. The market traded terrible, and this thing didn't go anywhere. I mean, can you tell that there was like world-ending volatility going on? No. Base trading just fine. Alien base. This looks okay to me. Right? 2 little square consolidations, and it's the little engine that could. Like, everyone's on Solana. Therefore, the obvious trade is on base. It's obvious. Degen, right? A meme coin on Coinbase. What's the matter with this? Nothing. Look at the daily chart of this. Like, people are going to go on Coinbase, and they're going to go, oh, you know what? Yeah, okay. This is kind of on its way up. This still seems depressed, right? This could be this. This could be epic. Why is everybody selling? Why is everybody telling me it's going to go down another 30% when this looks like some of the charts that we saw prior to the election? And even if it's not a head and shoulders top, it's still the bigger the base, the higher in the space. You're just watching me draw on the chart. Here we go. Like, it's the facts, right? Like, what are the facts? Well, the facts is if you do some basic math on this stuff, it's a little bit away. Like, it retraced 62% of the election move. That's pretty good. This is fine. Base, all good. Right? True finance, just going outside the box a little bit. Hey, what's wrong with this? Nothing. Is there a big problem? Is there a problem, officer? No, not really. Right? This had a huge value proposition lending on the blockchain. Did it go up? No. Did it go down? No. It's fine. It's the bigger the base, the higher in the space. It's a big downward sloping wedge. Right? We could do this all day. Let's do virtual. Everyone's trying to tell me that, oh yeah, there's no why is no one talking about AI? No one's talking about AI. Right? Look at this thing. This is like up only. It's up only. And we're waiting for a 30% correction? Really? Oh, okay. Well, you guys have fun with that. Because, like I said, things can go either way on a holiday. I don't want to be arrogant. I don't want to disrespect the market. I'm telling you not to, so I shouldn't. But what is this telling you? Like, do you need me to tell you that this thing, to read this? This is moving from bottom left to top right. This is a 4-hour chart. Machine is, okay, now it's letting me edit it. This is the live TA portion of our show. What's the problem? Okay. Now, again, I told y'all not to do this, and I still believe that. But right? I just want to give you a little bit of a heads up. This is the MicroStrategy meme coin. So the stock traded like a meme, and the meme went down. It's funny. Okay, now it's on ETH. I still think this could revive ETH because it's a very interesting coin. It went down 70% and hasn't gone down anymore. My point is, if you want to trade MicroStrategy as a meme, there is a meme coin. They don't have to do the stock. They can do this instead. Just saying, right? But again, down 70%, like Ski Mask Dog. Ripple partners to launch tokenized fund on XRPL. Oh, by the way, XRP has a layer 1. Didn't you know? How perfect. They have partnerships with banks. It's fast money, and they have a layer 1. Perfect for an ETF. Can't wait to get on social media and tell everybody about it. As XRP falls, expert predicts most likely scenario for XRP. Okay, well, I gave you a scenario. I have an article in here somewhere, right, that XRP is actually going to buy their own. Here it is. Just in, Ripple is going to buy the XRP ETF. Hey, folks, I hate to tell you this. The crypto market doesn't get this yet, but Ripple just announced a buyback program. So, you know, companies, if they want to make their stock go up, they say, yeah, we earned so much money that we're going to buy back our stock. Our job is to create shareholder value. We have all this money. So instead of building another factory, we're going to buy back the stock. It's the biggest game in the world, right? Fed prints money, the stocks go up. Company earns money. They take their earnings and they buy the stock back. Just goes up and up and up and up until Warren Buffett decides to sell Apple and sit in cash. Meanwhile, Ripple is like, oh yeah. I mean, we had to sell some XRP to fund our operations when we were scared, right? So they got bearish their own coin. They did. They got bearish their own coin. The guy spoke at Consensus in April, Garlinghouse, never mentioned XRP. Not one word. Talking about stable coins. Never mentioned how great XRP was. Now they're quietly trying to reverse themselves by saying, oh, we'll put the XRP ETF on our balance sheet. No problem. Like, think about this for a second. Even if you don't understand what a stock buyback is, Ripple doesn't have enough XRP. Ripple is short XRP, if you want hyperbole. Ripple doesn't own enough of its own coin, so it's going to buy the ETF instead. It's like, whoops, we sold too many. This is not factored into the market. It's not. Like, people are too busy worrying and freaking out about yesterday. They're too busy freaking about yesterday. All right. Let's go to PowerPoint. Okay, so here's Cramer. You know, Cramer, the market's down 8% since he was, kind of misquoted. Of course, he has to come in at the bottom last night and really scare everybody and say that he likes it. Like, he wants to buy the first dip. I think it's very interesting that these two things happen. And now that I'm sort of processing it, like, if you just sold Michael Saylor $1 billion worth of Bitcoin and you wanted everyone to sell, what would you do? You would call Jim Cramer and say, hey, Jim, do us a favor and say something positive about Bitcoin. Just send us out a tweet. Just do us a little favor. Or, they could have paid him to do that. I mean, they pay people to like tweets and retweets and whatever. It's like, hey, Jim, give us a little thumbs up so everybody can go, oh my God, and sell at the low last night when it traded terrible. What's really going on here? They got to buy back all this Bitcoin that they sold Michael Saylor, and they got to do it before BlackRock comes in and gets heavy-handed. Now, as a reminder, we did this yesterday. When Bitcoin is down more than 5% on the 25th day of the month, so this is like, 2 days ago, Bitcoin normally turns around and does very well over the next 15 days. The worst case scenario out 15 days is like a 1.7% rally. on average, Bitcoin is up 14% from where it was on the 15th. There are 4 instances of 25% or 20% rallies. Can you imagine? Now, admittedly, 30% corrections probably won't happen, so 20% rallies may not happen either, or so you think, right? Like, where does power lie in Bitcoin now? Now that everyone took profits at the end of the month, now that everyone's running for the hills, now that everybody thinks that they don't have to be long anymore, watch out. That's my opinion. Now, let's go to the charts and be honest. So the Bitcoin ETF, this is not great looking. Okay. 54 was a big point. They rammed it through and then they dropped it. Okay. Now it's sitting on a moving average near 52. This probably has some work to do to look a little better. Okay. This is obvious FOMO here, and they trapped everybody. That said, let's give it a chance, right? This is pretty nasty price action, right? For a stock, right? They ram it up, they take it through resistance, they drop it, they try to rally it, and they drop it again. You know, that'll scare you off. All right. So Bitcoin, you know, we did see a top, we did see a pause. We didn't know it was going to get wrecked, but it got hit right into a support point at 91K. This could be over, you know, a zigzag, an ABC correction in your chart book. That said, I don't really want to see a failed rally. I don't care if it trades bad or it doesn't go up, but I don't want to see another down, 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 because that can trigger panic. Don't want to see a failed rally. Sitting here is fine. Okay, Ethereum. What's the problem? Right? Ethereum did a little bit of an uptrade to 3,500. Big trends have 5 waves. The third wave is the middle wave. It gives you a lot of slow gratification. Then you get a 4 wave, which is, it's a sudden correction. And then when the sudden correction is over, you get what can be an emotional final 5 wave up. So 3250 is support in ETH. Again, I'm really not interested in seeing a terrible decline from here. But if there is no terrible decline in ETH, there's a lot of blue sky on this chart to 3875. In other words, Ethereum could wake up in the darkest hour. Now, you might be like, okay, Boomer, but okay. There's a lot of blue sky here, and this looks better than anything else. Now, Solana. Okay, so the November 12th high was 225. There was some excessive FOMO. They unwound that. This doesn't look great. It doesn't look terrible. You definitely don't want to see sustained action below 225 because you're going to trap everybody up there, right? That means everybody would be losing on their meme coin and on Solana. Okay. So Solana, for all the things I could say about it, held support. Let's be honest. It held support. So as long as it continues to hold support, even if it looks scary, things are okay. If it doesn't hold support, we'll deal with it. Now, Solana on a weekly chart. To be honest, this looks like a top. This looks like a top, right? You had a top over here, a top signal over here, and a top signal over here. Could this be a pause that refreshes? Yes, it can. It could be. But this thing went to kind of where you would expect to blow off top. So what's the conclusion? The conclusion is something else might outperform Solana. Perhaps Ethereum, Polkadot, SUI, and SEI might outperform Solana. If there's no Solana ETF because of pump.funds, Solana could go into a range. What's wrong with the range? Now, of course, if Solana took off, this decline would be a pause that refreshes. And who cares? We party on. But even if we don't party on, perhaps attention going somewhere else is not the end of the world. Matter of fact, it could be a good thing. Okay, Solana on a daily chart, it was, in retrospect, it was obvious, right? The top was a while ago. XRP, you got a lot of support at $1.24. A lot of support. And there's no real ugly topping signal here. Yeah, it's up, it's stretched out, but it's consolidating in a sideways fashion. It's a square. This looks like Ethereum back in the day. There's support at 126. There's support at $1.10, but there's nobody wants to sell this. I don't blame them. This could be the next ETF and everyone's sleeping on it. XRP weekly. You know what? This week is the week you would have expected a dip. And you're not really getting much of a dip. But you are getting a dip. And you should take advantage of it. You know, the social media numbers on XRP content, it's incredible. I have a TikTok that at last check, I didn't even check it this morning. Last night had 1.8 million views. I have 1.8 million views on a hyperbole video on XRP with 20,000 followers. That's just outrageous. That's incredible. I have more likes on that post than I have in all of my social media following together. I mean, yes, that could be a top. Yes, that could be scary. Yes, I get it. But, you know, is the XRP army coming back in massively after just 2 up weeks when it's made in America and the founder is on the phone with the orange man? Like, just putting it all together. Do you think Ripple would be buying the XRP ETF if they thought there wasn't going to be more sponsorship from Uncle Sam and other ETFs? In other words, they've announced it. You've been told. It took the market several days after the election to process what was going to go on in Bitcoin. It didn't go straight up. It was up, but you didn't have the real FOMO for like 2 weeks later. They're playing it again. They're playing the same song, except they're playing it in XRP. Like I said, what's the problem? If there is a problem, it's in this like Solana universe, right? Okay, the Sailor meme coin, which you should avoid because it's a meme coin and it's 20 million market cap. I use it as an indicator. It's MSTR 2100. Okay, how much impact would RLUSD have for XRP's price? That I don't know. Okay, any hopes for Normie? Okay, let's take a look at it. Okay, so I got to figure out which Normie we're talking about. I think I'm going to pull this up on TradingView. So when it comes to stuff like this, look, I mean, I understand if you want to give this a chance, but you got a lot of people trapped in this. You do, right? Now, if you want to sit and wait, you can sit and wait. I think there's so much other stuff going on base, right? That you'd be better off buying whatever's working on base versus something that turned into a debacle. That's me, right? In other words, like if nothing was going on base, I would say stay with this. I don't see a reason to puke it out, but you know, if you got 1000x dreams and Normie, I think, you know, you're better off in, you know, something else. Let's put it that way, right? Because this didn't really go up when the market was pumped up. You know, you evaluate these coins based on, you know, you evaluate these coins after a rally and say, did it participate? Okay, unemployment came in lower than forecast. Yes, business optimism may be picking up after the election. That makes some sense. Okay, private sector may be looking forward to lower corporate taxes. However, what happens? What happens when Elon comes in? Okay, what happens when Elon comes in? All right, let's wrap this up. I do not want to be the person who gets caught being bearish at the start of a mega trend. It's not a bull market until you can buy a dip and make money. So if you buy a dip and don't get stopped out, the market is telling you something. Now, if you buy a dip and you do get stopped out, okay, then you come back and try again, right? If you FOMO'd into something ridiculous and lost money, okay, you have something in common with every trader in the whole world. You know, you bought the low, you sold the low, and you bought the high. Who cares, right? If you did a bad trade, get rid of the trade. Don't lose your trading capital on the verge of a huge possible fundamental shift in crypto. And most importantly, don't get upset. Don't lose your mind. Don't listen to the media. Oh my God, everything's being liquidated. That is all nonsense. Brian Young was right in his tweets. He was like, look, bull market burnout is real. Make sure you keep yourself balanced so you can make good decisions, right? If the president is in DeFi, Ripple is buying its own coin back, and the entire planet wants to own Bitcoin with guys willing to buy billions at the top of a market, you should take those things into account. Okay, that's it for today. We will see you tomorrow.